This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 3178, One Thing Unhappy People Refuse to Do for Themselves, by Marc Chernoff of marcandangel.com, and I'm Justin Malik. Hopefully this is the last of the flashback episodes. I've been doing that this past week because I've been a bit under the weather. Thank you for bearing with me. Although I'd be surprised if you remembered any of these articles because I narrated them so long ago. But anyway, again, hopefully my voice will get better. We shall see. So with that, let's get right to our next article and continue optimizing your life. One Thing Unhappy People Refuse to Do for Themselves, by Marc Chernoff of marcandangel.com. You, as much as anyone in the entire universe, deserve your love and respect. Life is hard sometimes. It's impossible to live well without encountering struggle, and there are some seasons in our lives that are especially heart-wrenching. For Angel and me, one such season occurred over the course of 15 months when we were in our late 20s. It was a period of profound loss, beginning when we lost our jobs and our livelihood in the downturn of the economy. It was a scary and financially uncertain time for our family. Unhappiness is the simplest word to describe how we felt. As we were learning to navigate our new reality, we were hit with a devastating loss, the death of a mutual best friend from sudden cardiac arrest. The loss of such a key figure in our lives was intense. And just as we were beginning to get back on our feet, Angel's brother passed away unexpectedly as well. With so much loss in quick succession, there were days when getting out of bed was our biggest accomplishment. This is the nature of struggle, but as the days turn into weeks, months, and years, we learn to press forward. We learn that we are resilient, and we hold a greater appreciation for what we have and the people who are dear to us. Sitting here now, years later, I can honestly say that Angel and I have learned great lessons from that agonizing time in our lives. We've learned how to cope with the hard times, the pain and disappointment. And above all, we've learned the vital importance of self-love and self-care, the magic that makes smiling again and again possible. The truth is, everyone experiences unhappy circumstances on occasion, but there's a big difference between experiencing bouts of unhappiness and living a habitually unhappy life. That's what chronically unhappy people do. And although there are some exceptions, clinical depression, etc., a vast majority of these people's unhappiness stems from their own self-neglect. Over the past decade, Angel and I have helped thousands of unhappy people rediscover their smiles, and in the process, we've learned a lot about the negative behaviors that typically hold them back. Self-neglect always stands at the very top of this list. Even if you are generally a happy person, neglecting yourself is a habit that can easily creep up on you. The key is to give yourself the extra attention you need and deserve. Resisting and ignoring your own feelings and emotions does not serve you. It leads to stress, illness, confusion, broken relationships, fits of anger, and bouts of deep, dark depression. Anyone who has experienced any of these knows that these states of mind are horrifically unhealthy. And when you're in the habit of self-neglect, your standards for living nosedive, and it's near impossible to escape. So right now, ask yourself, do I love myself enough to never lower my standards for the wrong reasons? Find the strength to say yes. It's about living honorably. It's about doing the right thing for you, no matter what, even when nobody else is going to know or understand. At the end of the day, your reputation is what other people know about you. Your honor is what you know about yourself. You have to admit, to a certain extent, you have spent too much of your life trying to shrink yourself, trying to become smaller, quieter, less sensitive, less opinionated, less needy, less you. Because you felt broken and you didn't want to be too much or push people away. You wanted to fit in. You wanted people to like you. You wanted to make a good impression. You wanted to be wanted so you could feel healed. And so for years, you sacrificed yourself for the sake of making other people happy. And for years, you suffered. But you're tired of suffering and you're done shrinking, right? Good. It's not your job to change who you are in order to become someone else's idea of a worthwhile human being. You are worthwhile, not because other people think you are, but because you are breathing your own air and therefore you matter. Your thoughts matter. Your feelings matter. Your voice matters. And with or without anyone's approval or permission, you must be who you are and live your truth. even if it makes people turn their heads, even if it makes them uncomfortable, even if they choose to leave. You may have been broken down by adversity, but you are not broken. So don't let others convince you otherwise. Heal yourself by refusing to shrink. Choose to take up a lot of space in your own life. Choose to give yourself permission to meet your own needs. Choose to honor your feelings and emotions. Choose to make self-love and self-care top priorities. Choose yourself. Angel and I discuss all of this in more detail in the self-love and adversity chapters of 1000 Little Things Happy, Successful People Do Differently. Afterthoughts. True strength is in the heart and soul, not in muscles. It's about having faith and trust in who you are and a willingness to act upon it regardless of the adversities and judgments you've faced. Decide this minute to never again beg anyone for the love, respect, and attention that you should be showing yourself. Today, look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you, and from now on, I'm going to prove it. When you practice self-love and self-care, you give yourself the opportunity to be happy. And when you are happy, you become a better friend, a better lover, a better family member, and a better you. You just listened to the post titled One Thing Unhappy People Refuse to Do for Themselves by Marc Chernoff of marcandangel.com. And thank you to Marc and Angel, longtime contributing authors to this show. This one is pretty fitting for Memorial Day, and with the current state of the economy and world, we're all going through tough times of varying degrees together. And his point is true. We've learned how to cope with the hard times, the pain and disappointment, and hopefully we're learning the importance of self-care and using it to make the most of these times. Everything is perspective. So if we can feel the pain in difficult times and learn to accept it and let it go when appropriate, then we won't dwell on it and stay unhappy. It is easier said than done, but a really important thing to focus on. So hopefully that was helpful for you today. But I'll leave it there. Hope you're having a great day, a meaningful Memorial Day, and I'll be back tomorrow as usual, where your optimal life awaits.